At Alease Michelle, and today I am super duper excited to share with you about today's topic. So let's face it, like really, let's face it. I know how difficult it is to actually sell your coaching services or products online, even if it's in a webinar, if it's live streaming, if it's on videos. It's a struggle, and I get it. So today I am going to share with you how to sell on your webinars without sounding salesy. So stay tuned.
Do you need clear direction on how to create a solid income foundation? Do you need guidance on growth strategies and systems? Are you ready to accelerate your growth and impact? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Coach to Coach Show with Alease Michelle Jones.
Awesome, guys. Look, this is part 4 of webinar marketing for coaches. This is the last training, but this is the most important training that you want to stay tuned. Because if you're doing webinars of any sort, live workshops, I don't care if this is at a live event, you want to know how to sell your offer at the end. You just don't want to you want to give awesome and great content, but you want to make an offer, right? It's all about making money. It's about increasing our income, generate income, being able to make an impact in our coaching business. But also, if you're working a 9 to 5, you want to be able to generate enough income so that you can leave that 9 to 5 so that you can really pursue your coaching business full time. And it's all about making offers, selling it. So today I want to show you my process, my whole entire system and steps on how I actually sell on my webinars, live events, live streaming, whatever it might be, right? Without sounding salesy. And it's a really nice, comfortable, easy process, right? So you guys know the dealio. As you guys are coming in, go ahead and hit the share button. Sharing is caring. I love that. You love that. And I really appreciate that. And if you know of anybody else, tag another person who would absolutely enjoy this show as well, because this is the best way to support the show. Right? Sharing and tagging and sharing all that great love. And as you guys are coming in, go ahead and put your name in the comment section so that I can give you a shout out as well. And you guys know I'm going to do a little, let me check to make sure everything is working like it's supposed to as well. Okay. All right. And to make sure that you guys can hear me. Yeah. So I'm not going to waste any of you guys' time. I'm going to go right into the content and talk about, all the steps and all the wonderfulness of learning how to sell on your webinars without sounding salesy. Okay. So let's get into today's content. Oh, and a quick reminder, as always, today's show is sponsored by the Coachpreneur Club. It is quality done for you content, courses, and lead generation tools that you can brand as your own to help you build your brand and grow your coaching business. All you have to do is go to aleasemichelle.com/club for more information on how you can join today for only $1. Guys, take advantage of the $1 offer. It is absolutely phenomenal. You get access to this month's Done For You package, which you can see right now is how to recover from burnout and regain your sense of control. Since this package was released this month, I had a client just yesterday say that she did this presentation on her Facebook page to her group, and she actually got a client at the end of the presentation. So sharing valuable content is essential, but I also understand that it is a time consuming to create these webinars, these PowerPoint slides, so that you can teach valuable content. Sometimes it's just really a struggle to come up with content ideas that you can share with your audience. That's what the Coachpreneur Club is. I provide all the Done For You content for you, right? So all you have to do is rebrand it as your own. So you can take advantage of the Coachpreneur Club today by joining for only $1. As you can see, you can just go to aleasemichelle.com/club and you can join for only $1 for the first 7 days. And then after that, it is only $37 a month. And You know, just like that client who got a new client from doing the presentation, it pays for itself every single month. So check it out. If you're not a club member, then I would definitely love to have you in the club with us as well. Hello, Michelle. Nice to have you with me today. So let's go on. All right. So if you've missed all the other series, right? This is part 4 of the Webinar Marketing for Coaches series. And last week, well, the first part was how to create a webinar from scratch in 6 easy steps. So I go through the steps on what you should include in a webinar and etc. So that was on the first, that was part 1. Part 2 was the 3 secrets to a successful webinar promotion. Now, if you spend all this time creating your webinar, but you don't promote it, you want people to show up for it. So I share with you the 3 secrets on how you can promote your webinar with ease. And then last week, we talked about the post-webinar. Once you've done the webinar, what do you do with it? So we talk about the post-webinar activities to get the most bang for your buck. And so today's number 4, right, is all about how to sell without sounding sleazy. So what I would like for you to do is to stay tuned to the end, because I have a special gift bonus for you. It's called the Webinar Starter Kit. And at the end of today's show, I'm going to give you the link so that you can download this today, right? It's a great webinar starter kit. It's going to help you. If you don't have content, you don't know where to start with your webinar, it is all covered in this webinar starter kit. The value of this is an easy $97, but if you stay to the end, you're going to get this for free. Hello, Cheryl. How you doing? If you could, she made it sharing now. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for sharing with me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. So here's the perfect webinar formula that my mentor taught me. And it's called the perfect webinar formula I put via because this is Russell Brunson's method of the webinar formula, his process. And as you can see, it's a lot going on right here. It is a lot to do. The intro, the content, let me ask you a question, the secret 1, 2, and 3, the closing, all this kind of stuff. This alone is super confusing, right? And so what I wanted to do was to give you an easier process to follow that a process that is a lot easier to follow, because right now this took me, the perfect webinar formula that Russell gave out was, it took me months to figure out how to do this. And sometimes I still stutter over it if I try to do it. But once I came up with my own system, it really made a major difference in selling and actually getting people to convert and buy my offer at the end. So I'm going to share with you my simple, easy 6 steps today. Hey, Cornetta, nice to see you. She says, hey, will this kit help me become a YouTuber? Yes, it will. The kit will give you the content. One of the things about YouTube is you need to have valuable content. So the webinar kit is structured in a way that you can just plug and play your own content in there, right? And it also show you how to do a paid video. So if you want to sell some of your videos at the end, that kit will help you do that as well. So make sure you stay to the end because it's free. So it's a great way to introduce yourself to YouTube as well. Good question. All right. So let's get into the 6-step webinar selling formula. So my 6-step webinar formula consists of, just 6 easy steps. Step 1 is the webinar expectation. Step 2 is the expert positioning. Step 3 is success stories. Step 4 is mistakes and false beliefs. Number 5 is teach. Just teach. And number 6 is the call to action. So I'm going to go in a lot more detail on each one of these steps. But if you want to, go ahead and take a screenshot of this right now so that you can have it for your reference or for your swipe file. And then you can take notes as you go. Okay. So if you don't have any paper, pen, or pencil, you probably want to get some paper and pencil right now because I am going to go in this in a greater detail. Okay. So let me know who is ready for me to share the goodies. Who is ready? Put yes in the comments if you're ready for me to share in more detail the 6 steps the six webinar selling formula, right? The 6 steps, right? Cheryl says she just took a screenshot of that. Awesome. 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 All right. So let's get into it. So step number 1 is webinar expectations. So when you hop onto a webinar, you want to let people know what they're going to learn, right? What is it that you're going to cover on this webinar? So it's very similar to what we, when you were probably in the classroom somewhere, when you was a student somewhere, the teacher suddenly walked in and she says, okay, class, today we're going to learn blah, 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 right? Get your paper and pencil out because I am going to share da, 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 da. And you're going to be able to do this at the end of today's class, right? So that is what I mean by the webinar expectation. Tell your people who join you what to expect. So again, if I haven't said this before, webinars is just not for like the 6-step formula that I'm sharing with you is not just for webinars. It could be for live streaming. It can be for pre-recorded video. Anytime that you're going to make some kind of paid offer or even a free offer, but I'm going to say paid offer, you want to use these 6 steps, right? Especially if you're doing it live. So if you're doing it like in a live presentation, you can use these same 6 steps in your live presentation if you're speaking from the stage, right? The formula works. It just makes it a lot easier for you to sell your offer without sounding salesy, okay? All right. So webinar expectations, that's first step. Tell people what they're going to learn during your webinar. Let them know. Don't skip over this. Think of it as like a table of contents kind of thing, but let them know what they're going to learn and what the outcomes is. What would they be able to do at the end of this webinar? So for me, if I didn't say it enough, at the end of this webinar or this training that I'm giving you right now, or at the end of this show, you're going to be able to sell on your webinars without sounding salesy at all. Y'all got me? All right. So that's step number 6. Let's go to step number 2. Now, step number 2 is like my favorite of all time. This is expert positioning. You want to share your origin story, as Russell says, and I say, and everybody else out there in the coaching world say. You want to tell people your story and the importance of where you've been, right? What happened? What are your struggles? What was your ups and downs? And how did you overcome those struggles? A lot of times people get the expert positioning confused with, let me tell everyone about my accolades, right? Let me tell them I went to school here and I'm a certified this and I sold my company for this and this and this. And expert positioning is not, it's some of that, but it's not, right? What people want to hear is that you've struggled. They want to hear that you're like them. Like maybe they want to know that you were in the same place that they're in right now, but they want to know that you overcame it, right? And how you overcame it. So if you guys have never heard my expert positioning, right, just really quickly, let me share it with you. Now, for some of you, you might know already that I spent 19 years as a college professor teaching marketing to fashion and art design students. And when I was there, I absolutely loved teaching. But in my heart, I knew that there was something else that I wanted to do. I wanted to provide this knowledge outside of the classroom. So as I was, dibbing and dabbing in the coaching world, branding and all this kind of stuff, my love and my impact that I wanted to make with others just grew. And I knew that teaching, I had reached my plateau at the teaching level, and it was time for me to go. But like anybody else, I was terrified to make that leap, just terrified. So I stayed another, the inclination to make a bigger impact probably came in about 15 years of my teaching career. But I stayed 3 more years being miserable, right? Gained weight. I spent a lot of money trying to make myself happy, was just not happy at the location that I was. I love teaching, so don't get me wrong about that. Love teaching, but I always wanted something else, right? But one day God spoke to me and he said, Alease, it's time to go. It is time to go. But again, I was hard-headed, just strictly hard-headed. And I was like, I'm comfortable here. So you know what? When God has something for you, he's going to make sure he put things in place to make sure you listen to him and you take action on it. So about a couple of months later, after God told me, Alease, it's time to leave, I got called into, not just me, but a lot of faculty member, full-time faculty member, got called into the room and said that there were going to be layoffs, right? And if we wanted to go ahead, if some of us wanted to go ahead and take an early, like leave early, right? Retire, resign early, you would leave with a nice severance package. Well, guess what, folks? I took that. I jumped on it, right? And took it and resigned that semester. After that, I decided to go full-time, head on, right? Knew a little bit about the coaching industry. I still struggle, right? I wasn't making the income that I really wanted when I left, but I knew that I had to get out of there or I was going to absolutely hurt myself or somebody else, right? And we don't want that to happen. So I struggled a lot with trying to get my message right, trying to find the right client, trying to decide on the right products to sell. And then eventually, once I started to go through all of those ups and downs, I tested out things. I found out what worked for me and didn't work. I finally found a system for me. And as you guys know, my system is my done for you content that I offer to other coaches. I love creating content. I love creating the presentations. I love the graphics that are included. But I also understood as a coach, what was holding me back from being successful was being able to create the content, the valuable content that would position me in front of the right people. So once I figured that out, everything has been smooth sailing, right? But again, if I missed it, if y'all didn't see that timeline, it took me about 2 years to actually find my what they call my genius zone, right? Or the sweet spot. So that is my expert positioning story. So that is something, if you haven't worked out, that's part of it. Man, I got several that I can talk about, but that is part of the expert positioning story. And so as you are sharing your expert positioning story with other people, tell them what the ups and downs was. Tell them what the emotions that you were having, what was going on in your business, in your life that you struggle with, and how did you overcome that? What situation forced you out of that? Okay. So that is considered expert positioning. Miss Sheila is on. Y'all, let me put my glasses on. I just realized, girl, you need to be seeing this stuff, right? So Miss Sheila says, and we love that you do that. Thank you so much, Miss Sheila. All right, so that is expert positioning. Get your story together. Figure out what you're going to say. Talk about what your ups and downs are, your struggles. So you basically, I like to say, it's the before and after. Before, this is how life was, and after, this is how it is currently, okay? So that's step number 3. That's step number 2. Number 3 is success stories. You want to share success stories from your clients or from other people you know. Even if you don't have clients right now, sharing success stories at this level is really important so people can see what the outcome is. They want to, again, if they're in the same position as you, struggling in a job that they're not happy with, they want to see some success stories. And some of these success stories can be yours. So if you don't have clients, it's okay. You can share your own success stories. So this is where I could share my accolades, right? I can say that I got my first client when 2 weeks after quitting my job, right? It was a small client. It wasn't one of my high-end clients. I can talk about that I was published on magazines, that that I'm a really good teacher. I was named Faculty of the Year, or I'm a bestseller author of my first book, that kind of stuff. I can share my own success stories, but now that I've been in this game for about 4 years, good 4 years, going on 5 years, I now can share success stories of my clients, right? Once they decided to be Coachpreneur members, what happened in their business? They got clients, right? They got paid speaking opportunities. They got international speaking opportunities, right? One of my clients right now, I'm going with her to England because this is her first international speaking opportunities that she has been given, right? She's been asked to speak in England. I'm going there to support her, right? And do a little sightseeing as well. But again, Once you become a Coachpreneur Club member, doors start to open because you are positioning yourself as an expert. So those will be examples of success stories that I will share in my webinar. That's the same type of stories that you can share from yourself, from your clients, and then the other part from other people, right? You can talk about other people in the industry that are kicking butt. I could share a background story of Russell Brunson. He's my mentor, but he wasn't a client of mine, but he went through the same struggles, and I can share what outcomes he's had, right? A lot of us talk about this. We talk about, oh, so-and-so did this, and so-and-so was able, Uber started off with in bankruptcy, didn't make any money, blah, blah, blah. And if you have a great idea or an invention, you can do this as well. So you can share other people's stories, just like, even if you don't have clients. So if you can share stories of your success stories. And I want to say this before I move on to the next one. Even your small successes are big successes for others. So don't think that that you have to have be making $100,000 to share that you have success stories, because that's not the case. If you got your first client who paid you $1,500, or if you got your first client or a member inside of your group coaching program, and your group coaching program was only $100, that's a success story, because there are going to be people who are going to be following you and watching you who haven't gotten one client. And to hear that you got one client is going to encourage them, as well as you got multiple clients later on. So don't think of your small successes that you think are small can be really, really big successes, right? Sometimes I downplay that I'm a best-selling author. Well, that could be that's a really big thing to some people who were said that they would never, that people told them that they couldn't write, or they struggled in school. I struggled in English in high school and in college, right? But that did not stop me from becoming a best-selling author as well. Those are success stories that people want to hear. So don't play them small. They can be big things as well. Okay. Am I making sense to you guys? Let me know if I'm making sense. Let me know if I'm making sense to you, because I've got 3 more to share, right? I've got 3 more to share. Are you guys ready for the third step? And how's your note taking coming? Are you taking some notes? Are you taking some notes, right? My husband is trying to call me. I think he's forgotten that I have a show at 1 o'clock. But that's okay. He can understand, right? All right. So we're going to move on to number 4. Number 4. Let me know if you're ready for number 4. I'm sending him a quick message so he can see that. All right. So number 4. Number 4 is part of the webinar. Your next step you want to do is share the mistakes or false beliefs. Address any typical myths in the industry or mistakes people in the industry have made. This is really big. And let me just say this if I haven't said this already, right? I'm telling you how to do this in order. So this will be the 4th thing that you go into. The 4th thing that you go into is talking about the mistakes of false beliefs. So an example of the false belief in the coaching industry is that you have to only do high-end coaching clients, right? You have to be getting your high-end coaching clients and charging them $10,000 if you want to be a successful coach. That is such a bullcrap statement that it literally burns me up every time I talk about it, right? There's another mistake or belief that people are saying out there is that if you do this one method, then this is the only way to make $100,000, right? Another mistake is that, you can't build a successful coaching business with just selling digital products. Again, totally fib out there. So those would be some of the false beliefs that I would share. Maybe if I was doing false beliefs, I wouldn't do both of these. I would do either false beliefs or I do mistakes. So maybe I want to share about the mistakes. Some of the mistakes I think some coaches make is that they don't use video in their marketing. Or number 2 mistake is that they hide behind a logo. Yep. I could go on and on and on. Number 3, some of the mistakes that coaches make is that they don't show up on social media enough. They're still doing the old traditional way of trying to get clients, which is networking. Don't knock networking. It takes a lot of time to use networking to build your coaching business. So you want to do social media. So those are a couple of mistakes that I could share on my webinar. So you can choose. Do you want to talk about false beliefs that people believe about themselves? Some of the other false beliefs might be that, oh, I'm not good enough. Oh, I have to be a certified coach to offer coaching services. Those are definitely untrue. You can't do your coaching business without being certified. Matter of fact, people are buying what you have overcome. They want to know the secrets of how did you overcome a struggle? How were you able to do blah, 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 or X, Y, Z? That is what people are buying, and you are going to coach them through the process so that they can get the results, or the same results as you, similar results or you, or even better results than you. Most of my clients out here are getting better results than me. My client who is going to be speaking international this week, she got her international speaking gig way before I did. Right? So most of my coaches are doing a whole lot better than me, which is what I like. I like that. So talk about the false beliefs and talk about the mistakes. Hello, Vita. How you doing? All right. So that is number 4. We are now heading into what is it called? Yeah, we're heading into home base really soon. So number 5 is where most of us love to be, and this is to teach, right? You're going to share solutions, tips, answers to fix your audience mistakes. This is where you're going to teach your little heart out. You're going to show valuable content. But if you guys didn't notice, we did all of those other things before we even got into the teaching. And so when I first started, right, I thought, oh, people don't want to hear all that mess, right? They don't want to hear that. They want me to get right into the teaching. And I think a lot of times we all fall into that same category, like, oh, all they want to do is get to the teaching. But guys, people want to start to connect with you. And those previous steps are going to build the connection and the engagement, the storytelling, the success stories, the mistakes, right? A lot of times people get to the mistakes part and they literally, if you go over that, talk about the mistakes and how to overcome some of those mistakes and how you overcame that over those mistakes. They already feel like they've gotten so much valuable information from you. So when you go into this teaching part and actually teaching, right? The what, the what and the why. You can also teach some of the how if you wanted to. They're going to really see you as a valuable asset, and they're going to continue to follow you. And by this time, when you get to the teaching, they are ready to buy whatever you are offering. Okay. So the teaching component is where we're going to spend probably most of the time on our presentation. Those other things we probably spend about 2 to 3 minutes on, no more than 5 minutes on. We go through those pretty quickly, but then we get to the meat and potatoes of your presentation. As part of, we leading into the home run as well. So you want to teach and share some good stuff. Again, this is where the Coachpreneur Club comes in. I provide all the teaching materials for you. I provide them all so that you don't have to come up with all this other stuff. All the other stuff before that, steps 1 through 4, are things that you already can add, and it becomes the done for you content. That's the way that you can brand it to make it your own. Okay. All right. So number 5 is about teaching. You're going to spend about 15 to 20 minutes on this. This is for longer webinars. If you plan to do a very short webinar, maybe 30 minutes, maybe you spend about 15 minutes here. Okay. So if we were to break up the time, steps 1 through 4 should take you, if we were doing, let me go back. If we were doing a 30-minute webinar, which is fine to do, you would spend about 5 to 10, about 10 minutes on steps 1 through 4. Okay. You spend the next 15 minutes. Let me make sure I add this up so that equals about 30 minutes, right? So we'll spend 10 minutes on steps 1 through 4. We'll spend about 15 minutes on teaching, right? Teaching your little heart out. And then the last step that we would spend is on the call to action. This is where you actually will sell your offer in urgency. So we'll spend about the last 15 minutes or the last about 10 minutes. Is that right? Oh yeah, 15 minutes on the call to action. That will be about 30 minutes. And why do you want to spend that much time on the call to action? It's because you want people to know exactly what they're going to get. So in your call to action, you're going to talk about what it is that you're offering, what it is, right? You're going to tell them why they need it, okay? And you're going to talk about how they are going to get it. And you're going to say the last thing is why they need to get it right now. So let me go back over that really quickly. Okay. If you didn't catch that in your notes, you want to talk about what your offer is and what can be the features, what they're going to get. The second thing is why they should get it. So you're going to talk about the benefits, how this is going to help them in their business, in their life, in their career, in their classes, in their script writing, in their business, whatever. Then the third thing is you're going to tell them how they are to get it, right? Do they just click the link and go and buy it online? Do they reach out to you? Do they DM you? Do they send you a message? Do they click this link or go to this link and apply for a session? Tell them how. And then the last thing you want to leave with them, why do they need to get this right now? Okay. So it's 2 whys now. Why do they need to buy this or take action right now? So you want to create urgency. That why could be you only have 10 spots. Or at the end of this webinar, they're not going to be able to get it anymore. They're not going to get the special offer, the deal, or the price. But those are the four things that you want to touch on your call to action, right? Is this making sense? Is this making sense to you guys? Let me know. And if you have any questions about what I've talked about today, these 6 steps, then go ahead and put them in the comments section so that I can address those before we end, because these are the last steps to the webinar selling formula, right? These are the 6 steps. We're going to do a review for those of you who probably came in last. I want to check and see that you guys have any comments on the page. Okay, good deal, right? So put in any of your questions in the comment section to let me know if you have any questions about this, because we're about to go into review stage. All right, so let's review what I just covered. And for those of you who came in late and you didn't get a chance to take a screenshot of this, then I want you definitely to take a screenshot of this, okay? So this is the 6-step webinar selling formula. The first step that we talked about was the webinar expectations. What are you going to cover? What are you going to discuss? Think of the webinar expectations like a table of contents kind of thing, and telling them what are the outcomes. What would they be able to do after they have attended your webinar? So that's step 1. Step 2 is expert positioning. This is what I like to call the before and after. What was going on in your life, in your business before you found the answer, right? So you talk about the before, what was the struggles, what were the ups and downs in your life, and then you talk about what has made it great at the end. So expert positioning. Number 3 is success stories. These success stories can be your success stories. They can be your client success stories, or they can be other people's success stories who've had success in this industry. And if you guys don't remember, let me give you another hint about that success story. On number 3, sometimes like some of us who have encountered or probably been in network marketing, a lot of times the people who have used the products haven't had success yet. So what they do is they tend to use the success story of that upline. They might say, our founder or one of our, head directors, he was able to do this, this, and this, and this. So basically they're using other people's success stories as part of their success story session. Okay. So you've seen it in action if you've ever been approached by network marketers or even been in the network marketing business kind of concept. Okay. So number 4 is the mistakes or false beliefs. So you choose if you want to talk about 3 or 4 mistakes that people make in your industry or false beliefs that people might have about the industry. So you want to not do both of them, but do either or. Number 5 is where you want to do your your teaching. You want to teach your little heart out. You want to spend about most of the bulk of your time on the teaching component. So the bulk of your time comes from the teaching component. And then the last thing is the call to action. You want to use the 4 things, the 4 part of the call to action. You want to tell them what it is that they're getting. You want to talk about why they should purchase it. You want to talk about how they're going to get it, how are they to get it. And then the last thing is why they need to take action right now. So you want to give some kind of urgency or scarcity. Okay. So am I making sense? Has this been some good stuff today? Do y'all feel like I didn't share some good stuff with y'all today? Let me know. Let me know if y'all feel like this has been some good stuff for you. Because if you put these 6 steps into action, anytime that you go live, even in a live event, if you do it in webinar, if you do it in your show some kind of way, right? You're going to always get people to take action. They're going to buy whatever you are offering, right? Follow these steps. Don't skip around. Follow them step by step, right? There is what I want to say to the madness. There's a process to the madness. Exactly, right? Vita says, I rock. I love it. And Sheila says, yes, 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 yes. Cheryl says, greatness in the community. All right, guys. So for those of you who stayed to the end, as promised, I told you I have something special for you. I have the webinar marketing starter kit. So inside this marketing webinar starter kit, you're going to get the PowerPoint slide deck to create your inspiring webinar or workshop. This includes 24 slides. You're going to get the presenter script, so you never have to worry about what to say. This is 25 pages, so I tell you exactly what to say in the teaching part, right? Then you include follow along worksheets to give to your attendees. This is 2 pages. If you ever taught or been in anyone's classroom, and you give someone worksheets to follow along with you in your presentation, it becomes a win-win situation. They absolutely love worksheets. You're also going to get the blog post or a newsletter article that you can use to actually promote the webinar, so you can give them valuable content up front, and then at the end of your your blog post or your newsletter article or a mini blog post, you can use it as a mini blog post as well on social media. You're going to say, hey, if you love this content, you want to learn more, click the link and register for my webinar or register for my free workshop or my online training, right? You also get an 8.5 by 11 flyer to help you promote your webinar. And as a bonus, you're going to get the 3-part video series on how to host and record your webinar or workshop for free. This is all included today as a bonus. So you definitely want to take action on it today, because only those of you who caught this show today are able to get this. Okay, so you want to go to aleasemichelle.com/webinar kit so you can download your webinar starting kit today. Okay, so that's the bonus for today. If you missed it, take a screenshot so you can go back and download that. And I didn't say this, and I did not add it to the sheet, to the slide. As an additional bonus, I have included all 4 video trainings on that page. You won't get this training just yet because I got to put it in there, right? But you get all the 3 other previous training. You get part 1, part 2, and part 3 are also included on that page. So if you missed that training, you can watch it right there on the page as well. Okay. All right. So guys, if you have any questions, let me know, right? I feel like I've given you some good stuff today. Like some good stuff that you can actually take action on. If you just went out today, right, and you put each one of these slides, right, each one of these steps onto a note card, and you literally just went through each one of these steps, right? So maybe you have a little sticky note like this. Let me show you, like a sticky note. These got numbers on, right? You can write down each step on the sticky note that I just shared with you. Step 1. webinar expectations. So you can look at it and say, hey guys, today I'm going to tell you about blah, 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 blah. And at the end of this short little video today, you're going to be able to do XYZ. Then you can go into, all right, expert positioning. Why should you listen to me today, right? I've done this. I've struggled my butt off. I tried to figure this out on my own. It took me years and years and years. And then one day it just clicked that I need to do that. Then you can go to the next thing and say, my clients are having super duper success with these strategies that I've shared with you. Sheila was able to do this. Cheryl was able to do this. Awesome, right? And some of the mistakes that most people make when they do this strategy is this, this, and this, right? So let me share with you my 3 ways on how to do X, Y, and Z. And then you get at the end, if you want more information like this, you need to sign up for my course that I'm having next week, blah, 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 right? So I literally just went through all 6 of those steps in that short little amount of time. And you could do this in a 10-minute video. Once you get really good at this, you'll be able to do this off the top of your head, just like I did, okay? All right. So I see that you guys don't have any questions, which is great. That's just fine. If you do have any questions later on in the evening or in the week, just go ahead and put them in the comment sections below. I'll make sure to address each and every one of those. But again, if you have not had a chance or if you missed it, this is today's bonus, right? Go to aleasemichelle.com/webinar kit to download your webinar marketing starter kit today. Miss Cheryl just said to me, let's do this. Okay. She says, Alease, my clients and I will have great experiences from studying these 4-part webinar sequences. Yes, you will, girl. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. So, all right, guys. So just to wrap up again, this was the whole webinar marketing coaching series. Part 1 was how to create a webinar from scratch in 6 easy steps. Part 2 with 3 secrets to a successful webinar promotion. Part 3 was post-webinar activities to get the most bang for your buck. And then part 4 was how to sell on your webinar without sounding salesy, which is today. So if you take action today and go here to download your webinar marketing starter kit, you're going to get all 4 parts of the webinar marketing coaching series. Again, give me time to download number 4, right? Because I just did number 4. So I got give me time by the end of the day. Number 4 will be also included on that page. All right. So, all right, guys, I've had an awesome time with you. Again, join me next week for the Coach to Coach show at the same time, same day, in the same place. You guys have an awesome and blessed day. I'll be talking to you later.